Morning, good afternoon, good evening. I've said on this platform that Zimbabwe is a failed state. And one of the reasons why we are a failed state is that we seem to be incapable of moving on. We should not be discussing whether or not Zimbabweans should have the right to a meaningful say in the governance of the country. We should not be discussing whether or not Zanu PF should amend the constitution to deprive the people of Zimbabwe that fundamental right. As I've said before, the right to a meaningful say in the governance of the country is more than just a right. It is the very essence of good governance. And God knows we need good governance in Zimbabwe. We are a failed state precisely because we have a failed political system, bad governance. But here we are. The issue of Zanu PF amending the constitution rages on. Here is one of the ministers telling us that Zanu PF is determined to do it.
The voice of the people is the voice of God. Nasi ulo mwara hana kutaura Mnangagwa ataura isusu ruzhinji kuti taureva Mnangagwa kuti the voice of the people is the voice of God. The voice of the people is saying Mnangagwa will take Zimbabwe to 2030. Hallelujah. Hakuna anogona kuramba 2030 nekuti ndezvaMwari. 2030 vanenge vachitonga zvavo pasi nemhandu. Nhasi uno takona tumwe tumhara patsatsatsa tinonzi vana gomwe kana tsenengamu kana mumwe uyo vachitaura zvavari kutaura. Musatya, musavhunduka nekuti wafundiswa vanotitaura kuti kana muchida kuona ukuru hwaMwari panotanga pabuda dhimoni. Iri idhimoni riri kubuda kuti ukuru hwaMwari huonekwe. Haleluya. The glory of God will prevail. The glory of God will prevail through our president, Dr. Emerson Mnangagwa.
Well. If it must be said, and it will be said, I am one of those demons. And I put up my hands. Guilty as charged. Because I am one of those who have also passionately said Zanu PF should not amend the constitution. This is shocking. Mnangagwa has been at the heart of this Zanu PF government ever since the country's independence in 1980. So he has been at the heart of this government for the last 45 years, the last 7 of which he was the top dog. And his current term will take him to 2028. So Zanu PF government would have ruled for 48 years. And now we are being told we have got to modify, amend the constitution that says Mnangagwa, as president, they served 2 terms, and that's maximum. We are being told, no, we have got to change the constitution to allow him to stay on until 2030. Add another 2 more years to his current term. I have got a number of questions that I think the regime must answer. Number one is, what are these transformative projects? Because we are being told that Zimbabwe, Mnangagwa must deliver this vision 2030, which will transform the country from what it is today, a failed state, to an upper middle income nation. I really want to know, what are these transformative projects? Two, why is it that he has failed, Zanu PF has failed to implement these transformative projects all these years? Like I said, Zanu PF has been in power for 45 years. And Mnangagwa himself has been the top dog for the last 7. And he will have another 3 more years. And yet we are being told ahead of time that he needs an additional 2 years. The third question that I want to know, why is it that no one else can be trusted to finish these transformative projects? No one else. We have to give him an additional 2 years because no one else can finish those projects. What's so special about these projects? We can't keep on believing in something that is so mysterious that only one person can deliver them. And I think that is one of the problems at the heart of this regime. We have got a problem here in Zimbabwe. The country's economy has been in decline ever since the country's independence. And now we are being told in 2030, we will be an upper middle income nation. I think people have got a reason, a right to ask, why is it that we are not seeing those transformative changes already? Surely, this economic miracle cannot just happen overnight. It has taken decades. It will take decades to achieve. And therefore, then we should start seeing the signs of this economic miracle. And yet the truth is, there are none of those signs are there. None. After the military coup of 2017, when Mnangagwa took over from Mugabe, he proclaimed that Zimbabwe was open for business. He was so cocksure that his proclamation would be followed by a flood of investors who were to kickstart Zimbabwe's failed economy. Well, 7 years down the line, none of those investors have poured into the country. None. Zimbabwe's economy is still a mess. Indeed, if anything at all, is sinking even deeper and deeper into the abyss. So one would be forgiven to ask, is this vision 2030 not just another illusion, not different from the Zimbabwe is open for business? People of Zimbabwe have been promised a lot of things, and none of them have been delivered. The sixth question I would like to ask is, if we are to accept that this vision 2030 is going to be delivered, and we have to give Mnangagwa the additional 2 years, is he going to flip the switch on the 1st of January 2030? Or is he going to wait for the last minute of the last day, the 31st of December 2030, to finally switch this vision 2030? The last question, and probably the most important of all, what if the vision 2030 is a mirage? What then, Mr. President? The people would have waited all these years, 50 years, only to find the country is still a failed state. And you would have gone ahead and amended the Constitution, effectively taking away the people's right to hold those in power to account. Will you reverse the amendment? Will you for once, or Zanu PF, if you're not there yourself, Zanu PF finally admit they've made a mistake and grant the people of Zimbabwe the right to a meaningful say in the governance of the country? What then? I think my guess is the people, having lost the right to a meaningful say in the governance of the country, after they've amended the Constitution, will find it near impossible to get that right back. The Zanu PF government of the day would fight hard to make sure that they remain in power. So the sacrifice that people would have made now on the promise that you deliver an upper middle income nation by 2030 would have been for nothing. Not only for nothing, they would have lost everything now. There will be no different from what we were before independence. As a black person, people did not have the right to vote. And if you go through with this amendment, people will have lost that right. And one has got to say, we will have lost that right for what? Would have effectively been conned to give up our right and then find ourselves with nothing. The country will still be a failed state. And we are helpless to do anything about it. In 1653, Oliver Cromwell told a similar government like we have in Zimbabwe, which proven to be absolutely useless. He told them to go. You have sat too long here for any good you have been doing. Depart, I say, and then let us have done with you. In the name of God, go. I think the people of Zimbabwe should have told Zanu PF this a long time ago. It's a pity we've not done so, and we've paid for it dearly. But I think we must say it now. Forget amending the Constitution, Mr. Mnangagwa. Go. Thank you very much, those who were able to listen, and have a good day.